Hey guys, today is Monday, April 7th, and these are the directions for today. So as you can see, I am on today's Canvas page, or actually I'm on the Canvas page. I'm going to go to Modules. We are still in Unit 8, so I'm going to scroll down to our Unit 8 module. Okay, and like I said, today is the 7th of April, so 4-7. Today's an AVID day, so a B day, and we are continuing with the DBQ process. Once I click into this page, you will then see our directions. Okay, so today your sub will be Miss Marvin. You need to make sure that you turn your cell phone into the caddy up front, return to your seat, and open your Chromebook. You do have a spot check today, 8.5, 8.6, 8.7, and 8.8. You need to take pictures of all 4 of those, and you will click here to get to the assignment. Once you click there, you will upload the pictures of all 4. You can see below that each block has a different due date time. If it is submitted after that time, it then becomes late, so that is on you. Make sure that you are getting that in, and I am just checking the notes. We're going to continue working today on your DBQ process. The question we're answering is to evaluate the extent to which the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union affected other nations and or regions of the world in the period 1945 to 1989. Now, you have the option today to continue watching this or to watch it again. I highly suggest you do so, but really what I've been telling you all along is to make sure to know your rubric frontwards and backwards. Now, first thing that you need to do is you need to break down the prompt. Okay, what years is it, what place is it, and the skill that it is asking you to do. Now, the question we're looking at again is, okay, using the documents and your knowledge of world history, evaluate the extent to which the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union affected other nations and or regions of the world in the period 1945 to 1989. Now, the first thing that we see is the fact that it is an evaluate the extent question. So you have to create a scale. And really what that question is asking is, how much did the Cold War affect other nations besides the United States and the Soviet Union? Okay, so create that scale to a great extent, to no extent, to a large extent, to some extent. Whatever it is, make sure that you are backing it up with the grouping of the documents. Okay. Also, then decide if it is a causation, comparison, or a continuity and change over time essay. In my opinion, I would go ahead and write it as a CCOT essay or a continuity and change over time essay because you're showing how much things have changed or stayed the same throughout the time period that it has given you. Okay, on Thursday, you should have read through the 7 documents, putting them into groups and analyzing them. Okay, as you have put them into groups and you have read through the documents, remember you are summarizing it. What is this document saying and what does it mean? So as you're writing your essay, you're going to have to say, according to document 1, or document 1 says. If you are straight quoting this document, all you would do is put the information in quotes and then at the end of it put the parentheses with the document number. You will not get credit for using a document if you do not tell me which document it is from, and that is per College Board. You have to always tell us what document it is. Now, to get 1 point, you have to use 3 documents. Okay. You have to use 3 documents to address your topic. So that means you are simply giving information from the document. To get that second point, you have to go a step further. You have to say, this shows that, this demonstrates that, and connect it back to your thesis statement. Okay. Now, what we're going to be working on today is your outline. So once you're in Canvas and you have finished your document analysis, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click here. It says DBQ Essay Outline, because I found that a lot of you simply had a hard time taking all of the steps from this document and putting them into an essay form. So that's what we're going to use today. So this is what's going to pull up when you open up that document. And it is simply taking each one of your paragraphs and breaking it into sentences and telling you where to take each one of your skills that goes into the rubric and where to put them in the essay. And you'll see below each one of the paragraphs, it tells you how to get the point in that paragraph. So we know that in our introductory paragraph, we get 2 points. 1 point for contextualization and 1 point for your thesis statement. And this is where you're going to do that. So remember, your contextualization should be about 50 years before the topic of this essay. And again, here is the topic for your essay. Now, for the purpose of this one, it is really important that you contextualize this portion well, and you can actually be talking about the time period that it's talking about in your contextualization. So talk about what's going on in the world at the end of World War II and at the very, very start of the Cold War. And then you have your thesis statement. This is where you're going to answer your question. You're going to give your argument. This is what the entire thing is based on. Remember, you're evaluating the extent. So your first part of your thesis is, how much did it affect pieces of the world? Okay. Your second part then becomes your topics for your next body paragraphs. Okay. You're then going to break down your body paragraphs here. Okay. There's a place for you to put down what topics or documents, you will use to support that topic for your main paragraph. Okay. There's also a place to put your evidence from the document. This is where you would paraphrase the document and you would say, according to document 1. Your analysis then connects it back. This shows that, and connect it back to your thesis statement. You'll then repeat that again, and then even one more time. Now, the third time that you would repeat this, you could use outside evidence instead. And then at the bottom of the paragraph, you would put your sourcing. You can put it however you want, but you need to make sure that your paragraphs had all of these components in it, and this will get you the most number of points. Okay, you'll see here that you get 1 point for using 3 documents, 2 points for using 4 documents in support of your argument, 1 point for evidence beyond the documents. This could be the definition of something that is not in your documents or something outside of contextualization. And then 1 point for sourcing, and you need to get 2 documents sourced in order to get that 1 point. Now, in order to source, you need to make sure that you are picking the skill that you're going to use and then telling me how it supports your argument. If you can just pick the sourcing skill, you will not get that sourcing point. The last point itself comes from the complexity, and there are 2 easy ways to get this. You can use all 7 documents in your argument, or you can source 4 documents. And this is a point outside and separate from your document use point and your and your sourcing point. Now, the last thing that I have here that you want you to keep in mind are sentence stems. Okay, these are underneath T. These are the sentence stems that you would use for the main part of your paragraph. Underneath the WAP, this is the sentence stems that you would use to start getting your sourcing points. Okay, it is really important that you finish this outline today, okay, because this outline is what you're going to be able to use to write your actual essay on Wednesday. So you need to make sure that you have written and analyzed all 7 of your documents. You have sourced your documents. You have grouped your documents. And then you have taken all of that and put it into the proper places here. And this will help you, hopefully, to write your essay on Wednesday. You will only get 60 minutes to write that essay, regardless if you have finished your rubric or your scaffolding chart or not. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you are getting everything done. Tonight's homework is to make sure that you have finished your analysis and essay scaffolding, and then getting your Cold War annotated map finished. It is due on the 10th, that's Thursday, in class. And then make sure that you're processing all of your notes and sections in your reading guide. Your reading guide is due on the 11th, and those videos will be there on in the homework portion of Canvas. That's it. Have a good day.